Oh.
Cool.
Oh, and Cunningham kind of opening up his game.
Well, it's going to be at least three-handed, and he expects probably four with Tom Dwan.
Yeah, Tom Dwan's got the old Dolly Parton 9-5.
I think he's thinking about a squeeze here.
Cool.
Well, he might have thought about it, but he doesn't do it.
Guarantee you he thought about it. Pot is just over $10,000, and here's the flop. Three ways. King, 7 deuce. And
Rainbow, awful lot of draws out there, as in none.
And amazingly, you know, Mattisau's jacks are still good.
And no one else has even caught a pair.
Check.
And it checks around. Here's a turn.
10.
Turns a 10.
That's a good card for Mike. Gives second best pair for Patrik Antonius, and with a check around,
check.
He may figure he's still in front.
Yeah, well, Cunningham's got third pair. Mattisau's got second pair to the board. And Patrik Antonius second pair on the board.
And Tom Dwan there with two hearts in his hand. He's picked up a flush draw. And here he goes betting it.
It's like a family meal. A little something for everybody.
Exactly. And with no one with the king, the action's going to be a bit slow. It's not going to be too expensive to see the river.
And I think Mattisau's a little bit uncomfortable in situations like this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Cool.
He makes the call.
Pass.
Well, that's going to get Patrik out of the way.
Pass.
Patrik knows that Mattisau's a pretty tight player. And we're heads
he's
up
done
here.
well to get out of there in that spot. That three changes nothing. Tom, only way he can win this is possibly with a big, big bet.
I don't think Mattisau's folding no matter what. I got to tell you. Well, there's only one overpair, only one overcard to my pair of jacks. The three of diamonds completes nothing at all. And you've got to start thinking of hands that Dwan could have bet. He could have picked up hearts. He could have 8-9. He could have had queen jack. I mean, there are a lot of cards he could have theoretically picked up.
But there reaches a point when you can only beat a bluff, and do you think the man's bluffing? That's all it's going to boil down to if he does fire a 25,000 or something into this pot.
That's what makes poker
Would
so
he bet
great.
a 10, for instance, you know? We know Tom Dwan had bet an awful lot less than a 10. But only as a bluff.
I mean, if Cunningham or Ferguson are betting in this case, I might lay my jacks down. There's no way I'm laying jacks down in this case, and I think Dwan knows that. This is why he checked. Mattisau is going to check it behind.
Tom looks to the heavens, possibly thinking, I might have been able to get a bluff through. I think David's probably right. I think you probably did well to check that one, Tom. I think Mike would have called him down.
Jacks aren't really good when 6 people call your raise.
Today's your day, Mike. Let's all to it.
Yeah. This ain't my day. We got like 20 hours left.
How are you going to make it 20 hours? If you get ahead...
I ain't leaving. I'm going to tell you right now. You heard it from me. I ain't leaving.
Really?
Yeah. And you want to bet on that? We can bet like 20,000.
Okay, so if you ever leave, if you ever quit...
I'll tell you what. If I quit before the game ends, if I don't quit, you owe me 20,000. If I do, I owe you 20,000.
It's a fair bet.
Is it?
Yeah, good odds. Go on, Phil. And big line, please.
That's what I'm here to do. Crush you guys. Not so much you.
Thank you.
I can't have. I don't want to hurt any part of you. You got 100,000 to win from me. So I want to keep you. You know.
You gonna be there?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna be there.
You gonna sweat me in?
I'm gonna be there every minute.
2,700.
None of them are gonna be there.
Raise
every
here
minute.
from Patrik Antonius after a limp from Phil Ivey.
Well, that's the reason why he's raised it up. King 10.
Doesn't need much of a reason, that much is certain. Mike Mattisau not going to defend with his 6-4. Phil limped with the ace-4 to call a raise.
Well, you know once he limps there, there's no way he's going to fold, especially not to Patrik Antonius' raise.
Heads up.
Here's the flop. 10-5 deuce. And Patrik Antonius a top pair. Phil Ivey now with the gut shot wheel draw. Needs a 3 to make that wheel.
Can also catch the ace, as we know.
7 outs.
5,100.
Quick tip for the audience: if you work out that you've got 7 cards to improve, a quick way to work out what percentage you've got is just to multiply those outs by 4. That's why he's got 28%.
Check.
Only works on the flop, of course. That percentage goes down when the turn card comes.
7 of diamonds, not a help. And Phil Ivey still with the same 7 outs. Needs a 3 or an ace on the river. Or somehow he needs Antonius to fold.
Which right now is going to be a bit tricky. About 13,000. Actually, no, Patrik tends to bet a little bit more. Probably more like 15,000 from Patrik.
Talking about the most penetrating eyes in poker. Patrik Antonius, Phil Ivey, 2 players I certainly don't want to be playing against.
Well, you went with my first guess.
13,000. Pot is now nearly 31,000. 13,000 over to Ivey.
Well, he's reaching for the chips. He's not going anywhere by the looks of things. Well, looks like he's got something more creative lined up. That looks like 33,000 to me.
33,000 total.
Well, what is Ivey trying to represent here? Is he trying to represent a small set?
Small set. Maybe 7s and 5s.
And we've seen Ivey in there with 10-7.
Yeah, we have. I guess they don't have to be too close to be connected in Phil's hand.
Your style's good for a cash game. Yeah,
And you get nothing from Ivey's face. Absolutely unreadable. Now, this is the dangerous spot for Patrik Antonius. If he calls the 20,000 on the turn, he might be faced with a big bet on the river.
Exactly. Makes an 83,000 pot. Whew.
And he's going to call this.
Well, he teased us by picking up 125,000. Just made the call.
Pot is now $84,000.
6.
Well, the 6 diamonds doesn't seem to complete anything. Well, I mean, I guess you could say it completed the 3-4, or maybe, just throw this at you, if Ivey had picked up a diamond draw on the turn.
Yeah,
something like Jack 10 of diamonds.
Exactly. Phil obviously knows now he has to bet to win this pot. It's a pretty scary card for him. He knows that Patrik could have been found with anything on the flop, and then maybe he's fired again with a flush draw. But he does know.
Pot is $83,900. The red chips are 1,000. The purple are 100. The blues are 500. And Phil Ivey's got some black ones behind there, and those are $25,000.
All in.
All in.
And Phil Ivey's all in. We haven't seen Phil Ivey make this kind of bluff. Unbelievable.
It's a tough call with just a 10 and a king kicker.
It's $101,000 to call. He overbets the pot. It's exactly the way Phil Ivey would play this if he had a set. Or if he made 2 pair, something like that. Oh, it's an awfully tough call. Patrik Antonius trying to play this hand back in his head, figure it out. Is my top pair good?
Well, he knows right now the only thing he's beating is a bluff.
Oh, obviously. And if I'm in Patrik's spot, all I can keep thinking about is Ivey maybe check raise me with a diamond draw, and he's picked it up on the river.
These two players have played against each other an awful lot online, and a fair bit live as well.
The way this hand played out, I mean, it's almost as if Ivey thinks his ace of hearts is the ace of diamonds.
Pass.
Well, he lays it down. It's a great play by Phil. $100,000 on a stone-cold bluff.
Great play by Phil Ivey. Once again showing us why he's the master.
well, with some of the biggest names in poker.